Always a snafu with the music, it seems. I don't know. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Brunch with Bigfoot, Michigan Rob. Joining me in Studio B, my buddy Tex from Texas Front Porch. If you're new here, please subscribe to Texas Front Porch on YouTube, Bigfoot, Michigan Rob on YouTube, The Blondes and the Booze, Paranormal Podcast on YouTube. How is everybody? If this is your first time, as I said, please subscribe. It's awesome. Give us a thumbs up, share it out, turn on your alert bell, and leave a comment. You can find us at iHeartRadio, Spreaker, wherever podcasts are found. If you like, you want to help support what we do around here, the super chat's open. Always a great way to help support what we do. Thank you for that. You also can become a BMR pirate. Arr, matey. Join today. You get a picture of me with my bandana next to your name in chat. It's fun. People seem to enjoy it. You find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And of course, go to our main pages on YouTube for our schedules of what we do throughout the week. On Mondays, it's Texas Front Porch. Find Tex 8 o'clock to 11. Starts out with the Diva Dimension and rolls forward with Tex and Brandy. That's every Monday night. Again, 8 to 11. Tuesday nights, myself and Krista Beyond BMR, 9 o'clock in the East. Wednesday, Texas got a new show in the morning. Waking Up with Weird with Tex and Paul. I believe that's the name of the show. But you can catch that 8 o'clock Central every Wednesday morning. Thursday is right back here with Brunch with Bigfoot, Michigan Rob at 1 o'clock in the East with myself and Tex. Thursday night is the Blondes and the Booze Paranormal Podcast. You can find them at 9 in the East. Monica Rollins, Our Paranormal World with Monica. Subscribe to her 11 o'clock in the East after the Blondes and the Booze. And you get more of the Blondes and Booze on Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I believe 7 Central, that would be. Saturday night, late night with BMR, Krista, Brandy, and Monica. Saturday at midnight, 11 Central. Sunday is Truth or Tin Foil with Brandy and Randy at 6. Infamous Minds with Diva and Tex, 7 o'clock. And I believe the Blondes and Booze have a show now as well with, I believe, Donnie Cho and Brandy and maybe Paranormal Paul. I'm not so sure on the 3rd. They just started that, and I think they're on at 7 Central on Wednesdays. They're going to kill me for that, by the way, because I think I screwed that up. But, you know, it's a typical day for good old BMR when it comes to the new announcements. With that being said, from Texas, my main man, Tex Wesson.
Hey!
Hello.
All right, I'll fill in the gaps for you here, Robert.
Thank you so much.
Robbie. I'm going to say that. You know what? That's what I think. That's what I'm going to go with. Robbie. Everybody's got a different name for you. You got freaking Josh that calls you Boomer and
Boomer. Yeah.
You know, you got Boomer. You got Rob. You got Bigfoot Michigan Bob. You got.
Oh, yeah. Right. That's so funny too. You know.
I know, folks. If you'll do a search just for fun, do a search for Bigfoot Michigan, and I guarantee you, 1 or 2 is going to pop up. It's going to be in this. It's going to be in this order. Bigfoot Michigan and Rob or Bob will be 1 and 2 right there. And if you hit Bob, if you hit Bigfoot Michigan Bob, it's going to lead you right back to Bigfoot Michigan Rob.
Yeah, it does. That's well, I guess it's kind of good. You make a typo, you still get me. So,
right,
it's pretty cool. Right. You know.
So on Tuesdays we've got at 1 o'clock. You got on the porch over on Paranormal Among Us with Paul. He does an afternoon show. And let's see, what else did you leave out?
Well, I screwed up the Blondes and Booze channel for their Wednesday show. I know I caught it. I don't know if it was the right time. I don't even know the name of the show.
Oh yeah. It is Paranormal Show and Tell. And that is with Brandy and Paul and Randy and what's that other boy's name? Donnie Cho. Donnie Cho.
From Donnie Cho Says Stuff. Subscribe to him as well. He's got a pretty cool show. Different. We've all been on it numerous times. A lot of fun.
And hey, Keith, I appreciate that, man. And I'm telling you, if there's we'll stay in touch. I'm not going to. I don't know how it's going out there, but I don't know. We'll figure something out. Hell, people may want them. I don't know.
Keith is
There's a
from
new
Oakland
show.
County. Keith,
What?
he's from Michigan. Keith, you're saying you said something about Keith. He is from Michigan.
Yeah, but he likes me better than he does you.
Yeah, well,
But
he might.
in fact, he's going to be getting in touch with you. So,
Well,
but
awesome.
there is a new show starting. And it's not going to, we're just going to do it when we feel like it. I'm not going to, it's not like a scheduled thing, but the Night Owl is back on a semi-regular basis at this point. Me and Monica are going to start doing shows on Sunday nights, late nights. So,
oh, wow, sweet. So yeah, we are taking over the airwaves 7 days a week. You can find any of us, all of us. Yep, big old family of podcasting going on.
It's okay, Keith. Don't worry about hurting Rob's feelings. You can say you like me better. That's all right.
Yeah, he can say that. Michiganders are rude and crude, anyways.
Well, you know what? When you start talking about Michigan, man, y'all got a bunch of crazy and you got a bunch of crazy people, and you got a bunch of weird stuff going on. I've been watching the show. And I want you involved in it. Because when I go to talking about it, and me and you've got a couple of shows on the true crime show that me and you got to do anyway.
Yeah, we do.
But there's a show out there. It's a documentary, and it's called Lake Erie Murders.
Okay.
And I've been watching that. And what is up with y'all and killing people up in Michigan?
Well,
are y'all not happy up there? Is that what the deal is?
Well, there's so many things that, I always talk about the high strangeness in Michigan from the Great Lakes. I like to call we're the coastal state. The East Coast is Lake Huron, Lake Erie. West Coast is Lake Michigan. Then the North Coast is Lake Superior. And then, of course, Lake Ontario at the bottom, but I don't pay homage to Ohio. So yeah, I exclude that lake, but we got a lot going on. When I was a kid, Tex, the story about the Oakland County child murders, right? Which I thought I almost got abducted by the guy. Now I don't know if for a fact it was him, but I went by the grave sites where he murdered and dumped bodies of these young kids. That is to this day haunting, and have not found the killer to this day. And of course, you have tons of serial killers in Detroit. There's always dead bodies turning up in these abandoned houses. Michigan's creepy. If you're in the wrong part of Michigan, let me tell you, much like most inner cities of all these states, terrifying. Terrifying.
And it's not just that, though. I mean, when you get to the cryptid side of things, y'all got a lot going on up there, too.
Oh, we do. We've got lake monsters, off the Great Lakes. We've got Bigfoot and Dogman, Wexford County, the capital of Dogman in the city or in the state. My Bigfoot encounter in Lake Cadillac is also in Wexford County, but they're all over. And then you can't even begin when you talk about the Upper Peninsula. And we've got ghost hauntings on these lighthouses. We've just got a lot of high strangeness in Michigan in general. If you're a cryptid researcher or paranormal researcher, Michigan's is a hot spot. I'm telling you.
Well, and that brings up a good point, Rob. Why the hell ain't you out there looking in this stuff?
Well, if there was 38 hours in the day, Tex, that's it's on my plate. I got a chart over here in the right-hand corner, which has everything I need to do to get out more. I do have to get out more. But I'm the type of guy that nobody wants to go with me anywhere. And
bullshit.
Well, I'm not most people don't like me, Tex. There's a couple researchers in Michigan that I have to hook up with that have been on the show that we gotta go do some exploring. That's the one thing that's missing from my plate, especially doing a show. I'd like to experience my backyard. And I'm sitting in a hotbed of high strangeness.
You are.
So that will be on the agenda moving forward. I do believe it's something that I'm not ignoring. It's just getting the time of day to get out, probably on the weekend. And if I have to go by myself, I'm going to go by myself.
Well, Robert, you're right. Robert says Texas sounds off the chain too. We got a lot going on down here. We really do. We've got a lot of hotbeds as far as cryptid stuff goes. We've got like 20 minutes from where I'm sitting is Aurora, Texas. Okay, it's one of the better known. It's one of the earliest, if not the earliest, UFO reports, and it's a crash site. It's a crash site.
Wow.
This thing actually crashed into a windmill of the mayor, I believe, or the sheriff, one of the two, and they buried him, the pilot of this UFO, in the city cemetery. But wow. But see, I give you hell about not going and investigating your own backyard. Yeah. I ain't never been to Aurora.
Yeah, well, I was to tell you that, but Tex, now you do go out quite often. Of course, everybody knows about your Brown Springs episodes. You do a lot. You do. Well, you're out. I can call you a researcher. I can't call myself one. I mean, but you do your due diligence. Excuse me, with that creepy part of where you live. So, but you're out there. I mean, we can't be everywhere, can we?
Well, I mean, I guess depends on how you feel about dimension jumping. But because I mean, like I said, 20 minutes from the house is Aurora, Texas. 20 minutes down the road the other direction is Lake Worth Monster.
Oh, wow.
And then 45 minutes or so is where I have away from the house. No, about an hour is where I had my Dogman encounter. About 2 hours away is where that guy got killed by that supposedly Dogman. I mean, there's a lot of stuff, and we're in the middle of a Dogman investigation out, 30 minutes from my house.
Hey,
so, there's a lot of stuff.
And too, so there's a lot for you too. There's a lot on your potential plate to go check out. And it's got a variety of everything. Then you got the Dogman UFO crash site.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, Brown Springs, which is that reopened, by the way? I know you mentioned that a couple months ago.
Yeah, it is. It is. They evidently repaired the road. And I don't know if that was the case. I wasn't able to get down there. But it is reopened.
Awesome. We
Go to Pop says rumor is Aurora very protected by the pilot. Yeah, evidently they supposedly the body either got nabbed by somebody, or it may or may not have been a one of the ABC outfits or vandals. We don't know. It depends on which story you get. Sweetly Morbid Bear says, I haven't seen Tex in a long time. Well, you get him on the front porch, you'll see me all the time. So get your butt over there. But anyway, where was I? Oh, the pilot. But they buried him in the city cemetery, and the body got moved. It was either by an ABC outfit, or somebody robbed the grave, or the city moved him. One of those three scenarios. I don't know. But anyway, I need to go over there and do an on-location interview with some of the people out there. Is what I need to do. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be cool. And again, as you made mention, must like Michigan, Texas, a lot of high strangeness. Now, let me ask you this though, when it comes to your great state of Texas, is it mostly on the northeastern part, or is it like all over Texas? Because there's only a certain concentration of areas that seem to always be talked about. And I think it's out in your parts. Now, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I don't know.
Well, honestly, we got it all over the place because if you go up, so I'm in north central Texas,
Mm-hmm.
and that's kind of why everything's just a stone's throw away from me. But you've got, if you go to East Texas, that is a Bigfoot hotspot over in East Texas. You go up a little northeast Texas, you hit Texarkana. Well, Texarkana is just a stone's throw from Falk, Arkansas. And that's where my family's originally from, is Texarkana. Right. Hell, I grew up with stories of the Boggy Creek Monster, before the movie even came out. But you get down a little south Texas, you get into the Big Thicket area. It's another Bigfoot hotspot, and those critters down there tend to get a little more waspy than your regular Bigfoots. They tend to be a lot more aggressive down there. And then when you get down to South Texas and Southwest Texas down there and stuff like that, you run into the Chupacabra stuff. Far west Texas, we're right next door to New Mexico, and just our borders are like an hour away from Roswell, so you get the UFO out there. I mean, it's we got it all over. We got everything everywhere. I mean, it's crazy, but and then the hauntings are just, Kimmer says, because she's down in South Texas, but it's, you got hauntings all over the place. And then, I mean, well, hell, an hour and a half away, I've got the Hill House that me and Brandy and Randy have all been to, to investigate. And Bob too. That's where he got scratched.
He got scratched, and it's of course where you went in that small, tight closet and summons the demon. Tried to. The alleged.
Don't say that. I didn't try to summon anything.
You were saying I can kick your ass.
I got enough rumors going on about me. I don't need another one that I'm summoning demons.
You were egging him on, Tex. Let's admit it.
You
wanted to fight a supernatural being.
I was being confrontational. I was calling out that coward. That's what I was doing. I was not trying to summon anything.
Well, as a result of your conjuring up this demon, poor Bob got his old back all scratched up.
That took place, I think. Well, I don't remember which took place first, but
okay. I'm gonna guess it was after you pissed off the demon.
And I did.
That's just a subject that's so out there. And Tex, you've had you got some hauntings going on in your house.
Well, I don't know. I just got some strange stuff happening. We had on the show the other day.
Yeah,
we got a supposed EVP of a female going on the show, and it came from my mic that we were able to determine. And then I'm in the shower the other day, had the shower running. I'm an only one in the house. And over the shower, I hear, "How you doing?" The same voice asking me how I was doing. And I got soap in my beard and everything. And I'm like, I stopped and I said, "Well, that was creepy." So I don't know if we just got something passing through, but I will tell you this. We got remodeling going on.
Okay.
So that could be, and I didn't even think about that until right now. Mm-hmm. So that could be, what stirred it up.
Yeah, it could have been what stirred it up. You never know. So hopefully it's nothing. As you know, I've had stuff at this house, which I don't want to talk about that today. It's just, you never know. You never know. Especially when you're doing what we do, Tex. I think you're more apt or more open to paranormal situations, I guess, right? Or if you see potential Dogman or Bigfoot or whatever.
Right.
And shout out to Duke. The other night I had William Lunsford on the show, and Duke, you can find him on World Bigfoot Radio or World Bigfoot Central, and he was kind enough to read a passage from Mr. Lunsford's book, and then he delved into my book and read a couple stories on Patreon. So go check that out if you haven't already. Which thanks for that, Duke, for the advertising. And
You know
and
what? It's all right. I don't care what you say about him.
yeah, no, I'm not going to say what I really think about him live on air, but Duke knows. Duke knows, him and I are buddies. So he was cool to do that, which brings me into this little segue, Tex. As you know, I have a second book out, right?
You do.
And,
You do. Congratulations.
yeah, and
by the
thank
way.
you for that. This is book 2, Bigfoot Michigan Rob presents True Cryptid Encounters book 2, which, by the way, available now on Amazon. I did pin this. I pinned this in the link in this show, and so tonight, man, I'm going on Coast to Coast AM with George Neri. Which I must admit, I'm a little nervous about that. I mean, I shouldn't be. I talk, pretty much every day. But when you're on a bigger show, you're, blah blah blah. Things are going through my head, so I got to prepare like 6 stories from the book, which I'm going to do tonight. And one of them I'm going to share today as practice because this is a cool story. And it talks about everything we just encompassed with. It's kind of a werewolf dogman type thing, paranormal thing, but also at the same time, there's some physical elements involved with this. And
well, I don't understand why you're nervous. You're only going to have literally millions of people listening to you.
Well, that's maybe the reason. Maybe. So yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have to go on. Well, first of all, I'm going on tonight at 3:00 in the morning, so I don't know when I'm going to plan on getting a nap. I got to plan my day accordingly because I got things to do after this show. But so I am excited about that. And so, yeah, most of you won't be up to listen to it. But again, it'll be on Coast to Coast for those that, are interested, or and it'll be free on YouTube, by the way. I think they released it on YouTube a few months later. So, but anyway, it's a little different format, a little different audience, which I'm excited about. And I told this story actually on the Late Show about 2 weeks ago when you started your new job. So you didn't hear this, I don't think. And it's very creepy, and it's got all these elements. So I'm thinking about doing this on the show if it goes in that direction. But this is a story. It's in the book that I got an email from this guy. His name, I think his name was Rick. I'm not sure. I'll have to double check that for tonight. But anyway, I get this elaborate email text about this guy telling me about his sins that he's committed. And this is how my email's beyond BMR Gmail, and it's public, so I get all sorts of weird emails, as you might imagine, and especially since I ask people to send their stuff in.
Yeah.
I'm a sinner.
We all are.
Well, yeah, that's of course a different realm. Yeah, I mean, we all have done something, He says he doesn't believe in God. Okay. And he's telling me all this really personal stuff. He goes on to tell me that the sins he's committed did not involve women or children or murder, but his thing was this. He is a lifelong thief, stealing from B&Es in your personal homes or from stores, bomb and pop stores, wherever he can get his hands on. So he's been jailed many times, and his longest incarceration was like about 18 months.
Okay.
And a lot of the reasons why he was able to get out of jail or have a shortened sentence is because his dad, according to him, is a very powerful and influential man who has his hands in all the pockets of judges and so on. And so despite, kind of disbanding his son, still it's his son, and he always seemed to bail him out of jams they was in.
So he's a spoiled brat that has everything and wants more.
Yes, absolutely. And in fact, his name's Tobias. I just remembered. Yeah, what a name, right? Tobias. So, but anyway, hey.
That was Kirk's name.
Spoiled brat. Kirk.
Captain
Captain
Kirk.
Kirk? Oh, I didn't know that. See, I learn something new every day.
Tobias Kirk.
Tobias Kirk. Okay. Well, anyway, he's on his last incarceration. This guy, he's in his jail cell. He's about 3 months before he's going to be released, and he's laying in bed. He says, "Rob, I don't know what this was, or if I was a lucid dream, or if this was real." But here's what he goes on to tell me: he's in his jail cell, and all of a sudden, this entity that looked like a werewolf, it kind of walked through into his jail cell, and it was standing at the edge of his bed. And his guy says he's looking at this beast, this werewolf looking figure. And the werewolf says to this guy, not verbally, but in his mind, he says, "You can join us. You have the potential to be one like us." And the guy doesn't know what's going on here. Why is this apparition, this entity of a werewolf conveying this evil to me? And the werewolf says, "Well, we want to bring out the evil in your nature."
Hmm.
So this guy is terrified. Again, he says he's a criminal, basically. And he was extremely scared, right? And he's like, okay. He gets out of jail. There's that happened once in his lifetime. He got paid this visit by this werewolf entity and conveys that you're one of us. I can teach you. In fact, he says that as well. He gets out of jail, and of course, Daddy bought the kid, man, I imagine at this point. He bought him a trailer in the middle of the woods somewhere. Okay. Don't know what state it was. I have to look that up as well. I'm just going from memory here. So he has a trailer for his son, but the dad does tell the son, "Your mom and I were washing our hands of you. This is the last time. If you get back in jail, I'm not going to be there to help you. This is your trailer. It's paid for. Don't see us at Christmas. Don't see us at Thanksgiving. We've written you off. Thanks, Dad, for the trailer." The guy, he moves into the trailer. So as he says in the email to me, he's sitting in this trailer. He's there living there about 3 months. And then he hears one late night, he's watching television, and he hears his bipedal footsteps walking about his property. And it goes up. I guess he had made a wrap. It was a nice trailer, I assume, and the dad even had a wraparound porch built, made of wood around it, wrapped around it. So yeah, he was set up to the nines. This criminal that the dad is writing off, right? So, and he hears bipedal footsteps, and the guy's terrified, and then he hears this howl, and then he hears this whatever it is kind of fade away into the distance, running off into the distance. He says he waits about an hour. He gets up, he goes outside. Sees nothing on his deck. He's looking for, I guess, tracks, he says. But he goes down, he says, and he sees at the base of the trailer, now on the ground in the earth, he sees these set of bipedal, oversized tracks or footprints that he thought was an oversized dog or something. Now, this guy is thinking, what's going on here? Now he reflects back on the day that he was paid that visit by that entity in jail. So now he's kind of second guessing and giving some deep thought into what happened in jail. He goes, this just can't be happening. Can't be true. So the guy goes back into his trailer, sits down, watches a little more television, shuts off television. It's time to go to bed. He goes into the bedroom of his trailer and he goes and lies down, goes to sleep. He says he's just about drifting off to sleep when he sees the door to his trailer. It opens and a little bit of light shines into the room, which wakes him up, and he hears footprints walking about his bed. at the end of his bed. He wakes up and he sees that same entity type dog man, wolf man, standing at the edge of his bed in his trailer now. It communicates to him. All you have to say is yes, and we will show you the way. Yeah, right. So now this entity, werewolf, dog man, whatever you want to call it, it disappears into the night from his room. Now, mind you, the guy does not know what to do. His father told him, do not come back home. We wash our hands of you. But he was so scared because now he's putting two and two together. Seen this in jail, seen it at the trailer several months later. He doesn't know if he's losing his mind, if any of this is real or not. The one thing he said that was real is the physical footprints outside the trailer. But now he's wondering, how does an entity cast footprints? Another thing. Okay. At any rate, the guy says, you know what? I got to go back and see my dad. Ends up at his mom and dad's doorstep, knocking on the door. The dad opens the door. I thought we had an agreement, an understanding, son. Dad, please let me in. Goes about telling the father and the mother about his experience in the jail, and goes on and tells about the experience at the trailer. The dad looks at him and you know what, son, spend the night here. I'm taking you somewhere in the morning. Okay. Son says, I appreciate that, Dad. Doesn't bother to ask him where he's taking his son in the morning. Goes to bed. Next morning, he says, gets in his dad's car and he takes him to the dad's priest, clergyman from where he worships. And I guess this priest takes in a lot of people that are down and out, need a place to stay. He tries to, quote unquote, rehabilitate them, I guess it is.
Right.
So introduces the son to the pastor, the priest, whatever he was, and the priest listened to the story and addresses the son and the father as this: you've experienced evil. Don't know what it is at this point or in time, but what you saw was in fact real. It's not a lucid dream. It's something. Priest says, look, I need time to figure this out and we'll move forward with this. So the priest now asks the dad about the son. And so the priest says, look, you don't have to go back to the trailer. You can live with me with these other people that he has taken in for a set amount of time so they can figure this out together, so he can heal, so he can turn to God. Because as I mentioned earlier, the big promise that the man had to do was at least reach out to God and listen to the teachings of God, or whatever the priest is going to tell him. Man spends 3 months there and thanks the pastor for the help. And during this 3-month time, he's writing in the email, he felt a sense of cleanliness. He felt something different overtook him, more humble. And now he's ready to go back into the quote unquote real world, back to his trailer. He's in the trailer, he says, for about 5 or 6 months. And again, he gets paid a visit. He's paid another visit, Tex, by this entity. And this entity is extremely upset. Why did you turn to God? Why you could be a powerful man with our group? He was saying things like joining the group again. Just say the word yes. Just say the word yes. So the man was taught, whenever he was put in these circumstances, to say the Our Father. So as this werewolf entity is trying to seduce him into the quote unquote, not to quote Darth Vader, the dark side, starts saying the Our Father, and the whatever this was dissipated, and once again left them. In finalization, in the email, he says, Rob, that was, according to the email I got, he said, it's been over a year now and have not been paid any more visits. I today just continue to pray and know that my path could have been a very different way had I said the word yes. So, kind of creepy. That's got elements, text of paranormal, demonic. It's also got a physicality with the tracks. Um, to me, I guess the gist of the story is you got to believe in both sides on the positive light and the dark light, and you got to make a choice, I guess. And this guy allegedly, supposedly, has come to the light side of life, right? I don't know. It's got a lot of things to unpack there, man. I mean, we always talk about is dogmatic, is it dimensional, is it demonic, what is it? But this has a lot of all these elements. So yeah, I mean, that's just this guy's story. And what do you think, man? What's your take?
Well, I think God saved him. Number one.
Okay.
I think he dodged a bullet. No pun intended, but
Yeah.
we that gets us into the whole werewolf, dogman, physical, supernatural thing, and I think it's different entities. I think there are phenomenon. I don't think this. I don't think was. I don't think it was a werewolf or a dogman per se. I think that was a demonic thing, you know. But he owes his dad for sure.
Yeah, I think so.
You know, I hope that going forward he gets his life even more together. Yeah. I don't. Keith says maybe a demon mimicking a dogman. I don't think so. I don't think it's mimicking anything. I just think it's. I just think that's the form that they're probably that particular entity was in.
Yeah, it makes me wonder though why it chose that form. I'm wondering if this guy was into monsters. I guess. I mean, he could pick
That's
anything,
possible.
right?
That's possible. It could have been something. He didn't go into that, unfortunately. But that almost warrants a follow up.
Oh yeah. All these stories I get always warrant a follow up, man, and I've gotten some replies and some people, which I've broadcast before, but it's definitely one I like to see what he's doing today. Is he still on the right path? And then it makes me wonder: do I want to associate with people? Now, what if the guy said yes, Tex? What if this entity has come back in the past several months, and this guy says yes? Then I'm dealing with something I don't want to draw up any bad karma or anything cast on me either, right? I mean, this is the first thing I'm thinking about. What if he said yes, though? You think that I'm just wondering if he said yes, if then he's I don't know what would happen to this guy, right? So I guess that what I'm asking is if the guy said yes, where would his life go now? Would he be the leader of a demonic pack, or would he just be inhibited with skills to enhance his criminal activities?
Well,
That's the question, really, right?
okay. Here's my thoughts. I don't think they're going to give him anything.
Okay.
I think they were just looking for a soul to steal, as it were.
Good point.
Because they're not gonna they're not gonna give him anything that they can't get the lion's share of the advantage out of.
Yeah, they're not giving you anything, right? I do believe that they are just manipulating you, getting what they want. They could care less. You know. They could care less.
I um
Hey, this is kind of weird. Really quick, and then we can continue on. I was going to
okay.
say hi to Bomber, who I haven't seen in a while, and I was going to type
Yeah.
hi to Bomber in the chat, and YouTube rejected my comment. Maybe because of the name, the YouTube name. I typed it. I've never
Well,
seen that before.
well, no, it did. I said hello, and it didn't. But you know what? It did that to me every once in a while. It says it's spam or something. I'm like,
Oh,
it's
okay.
my freaking show and it's my channel. Why is it
Yeah,
doing?
yeah. I don't know. I thought maybe that's one of the keywords you
What?
can't use all of a sudden.
Yeah. By the
It's your
way, guys,
channel, yeah.
by
But
the way, I want to let everybody know that YouTube has been doing this a lot. It's been unsubscribing people. Please make sure that you are still subscribed to all of our channels and that you have the alert bell set. That's been happening to a lot of people. I mean, multiple times a day. Thank you, JD.
thanks,
3:30
JD.
a.m. there.
Wow. Oh boy, hang on here. Anyway, thanks, JD. Appreciate that. Yeah, 3:30 a.m. Wow. Hey, what country you drop that for us? Thank you so much.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, see, Kimber says she's unsubscribed like every day.
Really?
You
See,
know, so
that's a. I tell you, not. It's so funny. YouTube that wants everyone's channel to grow because let's face it, they make money off of us, and to
yeah,
unsubscribe people just defeats the purpose of being a platform.
and now they came out with this new experiment they're doing. I don't the creators. I don't know if y'all have seen it pop up, but to let y'all know, they're going to try this promoting videos on instead of number of views,
Mm-hmm.
number of comments.
Oh God.
So hopefully this will be a temporary thing, and they'll figure out we don't want this. Okay, but that is what they're going to be doing. We got a notification about it a couple of days ago.
Oh, I didn't
And
see that. I don't, that'd be
look on your studio.
yeah, more things to make it more difficult for the average
Uh-huh.
Joe doing a channel.
Yeah. So, yeah, y'all just be sure that you are subscribed and that you got your alert bells set. So, yeah, it's crazy. You know, we do what we do. We do what we
Yeah,
can.
we do what we do. You know.
Hey, Andy. Yeah. Key says, I'm curious if y'all piss somebody off and they keep reporting you.
Oh boy.
I haven't
Yeah,
been notified that I've been reported.
you would get a. Do you get a
You should get an email or a notification that you have been reported. One thing that they are doing that I like, if you're going to get demonetized,
Mm-hmm.
they give you 7 days to appeal it before it takes in effect. They weren't doing that. It was just like you woke up and your crap was demonetized and then you had to appeal it. So they're giving you 7 days before it takes notice, before it takes effect. So that's a good thing. And that's because y'all know I've been demonetized twice. And that is the comment that I put in there. Both times it happened, I said, look, y'all should give us a warning. You know, maybe we can straighten out whatever the issue is before, you take all of our stuff from our channels.
You know.
So they did that. I'm not saying I had anything to do with it, but obviously I wasn't the one that.
Yeah, I mean, it's so. I don't even try to figure it out anymore. You know, they think that they'd be for us when it seems like they're more of the enemy. But anyway, it's the platform. It's the number one platform, and I've been on this thing for 3 or 4 years now, Tex. I'm not changing, right? You know, it takes
Yeah.
so hard to build up a channel and now they just put in more monkey wrenches. So anyway, I mean that's the way that goes. But So yeah, when we go out, we talk in all our shows. Oftentimes, when it's about the dog man, werewolves, whatever, it's right. And again, Texas is still always confusing because I know what you saw as a flesh and blood type creature from your explanation, and
Yeah, yeah,
and it's and there's not really a lot of evidence on dog man really compared to Bigfoot. We always have the Bigfoot castings, you know,
right.
which in the sightings, but it always seems like more and more dogman sightings are more. To me, I'm leaning more and more to this. It goes from realm to realm, perhaps type of thing.
Right.
I think a dogman physical creature exists, like you say, and I think that there is a dog that walks on two legs, a dog, right? That may be a dog man, right? I don't know. You hear more and more, and it just makes me wonder. It's harder to put a perspective on that than actual Bigfoot.
Yeah. Well, the mechanics of a dog's body don't allow it to
Yeah.
walk on two legs, very long. Um, but and it's that's the big argument with on the Aper side of the camp that with Dogman is, oh well, it's physically impossible for something with digigrade feet to walk. It would have to walk on its toe. Well, no kidding, that's what it's doing. And it's just like, I think that the backwards facing legs that a lot of people talk about is misidentification. Mine had elongated, narrow feet, and it was up on its toes, and it made it appear like it had a hawk, but it didn't necessarily have that. It was up on its toes. That would explain a lot, but I get blowback from that. Oh no, they got backward facing legs, whatever, you know. But me and Monica have talked in the past, and we agree. The whole shape shifting argument. The human body couldn't survive that. It would have to take place over such a long period of time, you know, that I think it would still drive somebody mad, just the pain of going through that. But instantaneous transformation like we see in the movies, I don't see that happening. I don't think the body could survive the trauma and the shock of that.
It's just what's that word? Physiology. The physiology says you can't do that. The human body.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you really think of all the physical changes that would have to take place for somebody to do that, go through that transformation, just the sheer pain involved.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be
If it
unimaginable.
happened to you one time, it seems like your human body's bones would just bust up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I do believe, I tell you what, though, I will, if you go back to like the werewolf folklore itself, I always say this, and I think Tex, you believe this too. Like, there's some element of truth behind all folklore, and we all know that werewolves started out as folklore, right?
Right.
I think that they do exist, and maybe it is a dog man, right? I think that because I believe that curses exist or hexes that are put on cast on people, especially way back hundreds of years ago. Do you think that there are werewolves that were once human, but once they're turned from the human to the werewolf, that there's no coming back to the human? They're just cursed and they roam our planet, they roam the earth as a werewolf.
Hmm.
I think that might have some element of truth to it. I don't know.
I think it could be both. There could be like, in Louisiana, there's supposedly 101-day curse, and there's what was that guy's name? Stoom. Um, Supposedly the first werewolf. It was back in medieval times or something like that. But he was given a belt or a girdle that allowed him to transform at will, to carry out his murders. I don't know about that. But I think there is definitely a spiritual element to all this. You know, even if somebody doesn't transform,
Right.
but mentally does, which is a, legitimate psychosis. Um, it, it's possible. I mean, that they, the attacks are just so dadgum vicious, but that doesn't, and maybe they're wearing some kind of mouthpiece. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because you would think, how do we get reports of, like the kid in Kentucky that got killed and they said unknown canine? To me, that is literally impossible, according to them, because you can literally send your dog's DNA off, and they can tell you if you got a mutt, if you've got a Heinz 57, they can tell you all damn 57
Yeah.
breeds that are in that dog.
Yes. And you know that DNA exists for all breeds of dog. All you need to do, you can take any dog, pull its DNA, and you know what it is. Or in this case, if a human being was attacked, mauled, and let's say in the case they became undead, as they say, you can take you can take the DNA extracted from the human being where they got bit, scratched, clawed, and that will show what dog it was. It'll show if it was a wolf. It'll show if it was an animal of any type, would it not?
You would think.
The saliva alone in your wounds. I mean, that's what they do today for criminals now. You're arrested, they take a swab of your cheek, right? And that's on file, your DNA.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, well, you talk about the whole Bigfoot thing and the DNA coming back unknown. I don't. A lot of what I think is happening is it's not necessarily unknown, but it gets flagged in databases and it triggers an unknown response because I don't think the DNA is unknown.
I never
But I
thought
think
about
it's
that.
programmed to send out that response. Oh, this is unknown.
I think that makes sense. I'm wondering. I mean, I know. Well, when I asked you, Tex, I mean, we don't have the guests today, so you and I are just shooting it right now. And
Right.
I know I've asked you this, but a lot of new people. If you're new here, please subscribe to Bigfoot Mr. Rob on YouTube and Texas Front Porch. Thank you. Um, like you guys, like and leave a comment. But anyway, I kind of know where you're gonna with the new people for the benefit of the new people and people that might not have heard you say this. We're talking we're talking cryptids, the Cryptid Connection. That's the name of the show, anyways. But do you think that there are dogmen created in labs, released in our national parks? And let's say that you agree with that. And let's say that one attacked a person. Okay. And then the person passed on. And we collected the DNA samples from their wounds. I'm wondering if the government would probably eradicate the DNA, but I'm wondering what type of DNA would show if we made one of these things. Well, I guess first, do you believe that we've made them and released them? And secondly, what do you think their DNA from the created laboratory dogman would produce or show?
I don't. Okay. I think we have definitely tinkered with it. If we've, from the reports I've gotten, how are you going to vet these things? I mean, just because you hear it from different people, and the
Right.
story's been out there for years, that's no way to vet. You'd have to have somebody that you're talking to that not just says they are or were a former member of whatever organization and take their word for it. Okay. I could sit here and tell you I'm an member of CIA or DEA or whatever, Department of Interior, whatever you want to call it.
Right. Of course.
But you'd have to have a way to check their credentials. These people are not going to show you their credentials that have their real name on it, their ID number on it, to some freaking YouTuber. They're not going to do it, folks. I'm sorry. People are blowing smoke up your ass. Okay, that's just how it works.
Well, if you were even working with the federal any government agency, you're not allowed to. You cannot. For all the people, I'm with you to an extent where if I came on a show and I said I am with the government and yes, I'm a scientist and we create these things, I would be the show would be shut down by these folks, and I would probably end up in a forest somewhere under brush, right?
In a shallow grave.
Shallow grave, probably at the Brown Springs. It reminds me of a story I'm not going to bring up. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I know that there's been experiments done on that type of thing. I've heard reports that there was labs, I believe it was in South Africa, that were producing these things or had produced them, and they were studying them or whatever, and they got loose and they wiped out an entire village before they got them under control or neutralized them, whatever they did. And I heard that 5-6 years ago when I had first got into this. And according to the person giving the report, they were a member of this agency and all this kind of stuff. But we've also gotten reports of, these people that were supposedly part of an agency that were on cryptid kill teams and all this kind of stuff. And, I mean, no, I'm sorry. No.
I will say this. I think there are cryptid kill teams. I do. But here's what I don't think that if you are a member of a cryptid kill team, for the lack of a better, you just made that up. But I think they exist, but you're not going to get one on a show that legitimately done it. I don't believe, I just think it's not going to happen. It's pretty much something what you've been saying. But at the same time, I don't want to wreck it for everybody else when these people come on shows, though. You know what I mean? So it's kind of a fine.
I mean, you've got YouTubers out there that claim all this to be a super soldier, to be a member of a cryptid kill team, to be, all kinds of crazy stuff. And folks, I'm sorry to bust your bubble. No. Okay. No. They're not. Sorry. Because anybody, okay, you go back on, if somebody's bragging about how badass they are, okay, odds are they're not. Okay. They have nothing but intimidation in their back pocket to use. And it's called, it's no. I'm a wimp. Okay, I'll admit it. Whatever. I'm a wimp. I can sit there and tell you how badass I am. I just ain't scared of the dark like some other YouTubers that are supposed researchers. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm not I don't act like I'm 12.
Well, you can't be scared of the dark, that's for sure, if you are a researcher.
Evidently, you can. I don't know.
Well, then again,
But I'm just saying, there's a lot of people out there that try to say they do all this stuff, and folks, if it's that's why I don't want to be that guy that had that freaking UFO experience, because I don't want to go, oh, well, I've had this, I've had that, I've had this, I've had that, because it's like, to me, I even looking at that for myself, I'm going, God, I wouldn't believe me, you know. But anyway, I don't know. People are going to follow who they follow. They're going to believe what they believe. You know, whatever.
They are
Neither here nor there. We worry about the porch, Bigfoot, Michigan Rob, the Blondes and Booze, Paranormal Paul.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
Mom, that's who we worry about. So the hell with everybody else. Okay,
that's right. Well, good point. And here's the thing, and even how long. And you make a great point, because you know how hard it was for me to talk about my encounter, much like yourself, for the very first couple times. Because I know what happened to me happened. It happened.
Right.
And even I said, man, this story is so crazy that people are going to think that I'm just some crazy guy. Now, fortunately, since I've told the story ad nauseum, I haven't had hardly any backlash on it. No one's called and said this, that, or the other. There's always be skeptics, but for me, it's been a good thing. That poor guy that was abducted by aliens, what's his name, Walton, that went public in his life because of his story that he told, it ruined his life. Right? And whether it happened to him or not, I don't know. I can't tell you. I wasn't there. But like we always say, we don't walk in other people's shoes. So you can't be 100% spot on, right? You don't judge people, but there's certain stories out there that either give you instant credibility or they actually give you absolute no credibility, But I think that people tell the truth, like myself, yourself. People know that. A lot of people are smart enough to read between what's out there and what's not, especially when there's a lot of other similar stories that people can say, yeah, you know what, that happened to me. And they're being honest and genuine about it.
It all comes down to the listener. Who do you want to believe? Who do you want to, what horse do you want to attach your wagon to? Okay. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. I mean, we don't have to go down this rabbit hole because I don't. Like you said, we worry about our shows, and
folks, we've had people that have told us just fantastic freaking stories. Yeah, and my fantastic, I mean, they're good stories, or encounters, but they're way out there. Okay, we're not saying they didn't happen. Okay, but all this vetting crap that people talk about. You can't vet that kind of stuff.
No, you can't vet nothing.
No. Unless it was the only chance you have really is one, if there's, and that's even dicey nowadays, photographic or video evidence, because hello AI, you can't, the only shot that you have is that there was multiple witnesses, and two people can keep a secret if one of them's dead. So eventually the truth's going to come out, I mean, how many people have we seen get sideways with each other and throw each other under the bus? So, it all depends on who you want to believe, who you want to put stock in. I'm not going to beat you up for who you do, but I'm
Yeah,
not.
I mean,
Doesn't
and
mean I
again,
have to agree with you either.
and let
You
me
don't
tell you
have to
something.
agree with me.
And you got to remember too. I can talk about my show, even about the book, right? The books, plural, right?
Yeah.
I always put. I market my channel as an entertainment channel. I mean, because I will do stories that I don't know if they're true or not. But if the person told me it, the only vetting I do in anything text, I'll look up the location they tell me and do some research on the area where, yeah, these things have happened. So let's go
Yeah.
for it. But I believe in most what people tell me because that's just the way I'm programmed. Because what happened to me is unbelievable. So I'm going to give the person the benefit of the doubt. But we were here to
Exactly.
do this about talking about them and this, that, and the other. And it's like, yeah, hey, take it for what it's worth. But I think there's a grain of truth in all these stories. And with that being said, just
I think
just
I like
roll.
to take people at face value. I really do. And we've talked about several of the stories in your books, or encounters that you've gotten. And you've asked me and Krista and Monica and everybody, what do you think?
Right.
You know, and do we necessarily think they're only up and up? Not all of them.
No, of
But
course
that
not.
doesn't matter. That's not for us to judge, for
Yes.
one,
Right.
you know. And I've had people come on the show that have told just literally unbelievable stuff, but I'm not going to tell them they're lying,
Yep.
because I don't know.
Right.
Just because something didn't happen to me doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Yep.
Doesn't mean I'm going to believe you.
Yeah. But the key word is I don't know because we don't really know.
Yeah.
We just don't. So that's why I kick back and I listen and yeah, thanks for coming on and great show. I mean, and the only reason I have that perspective is again, the one thing that we can say is true in fact. I mean, and I don't talk in facts, never. Bigfoot exists, Dogman exists, ghosts, paranormal, they exist. I will say UFOs and aliens exist. I mean, I can't say one without the other. I have not experienced all of them, but most of them. In fact, I got 3 UFO pictures I want to send you, Tex. I snapped last year, which I've saved and I've never showed you. Remind me one day. I got to send them to you because I need your take on them. Because I think
Okay.
they are. I think they really are. So anyway,
And
so
Shelley
yeah,
Montgomery's got a good point. I question even my own experiences just for my own sanity. Exactly.
I think so.
Yeah.
And I think the people that are out there that do research, I think, and when you come across alleged evidence, you got to vet everything that you're doing if you're a researcher, in my opinion. I'm not a researcher, so I'm not going to talk for them. But that's why I don't like to show pictures on the shows. I mean, you just don't know. I
Well,
mean,
okay. The handprints that I've got, that the team's got, you know, can we say definitively what they are? What made those handprints? No, we cannot, because we didn't see these things making the handprints. We don't have pictures of these things making the handprints. We've had them checked out. All we know is the experts told us they're non-human. We have a theory that what they are. It's no different than the audio from Pops's property. Do
yeah,
we know what that is? No, we do not. Do we have a theory or we believe it is? Absolutely.
I will say this, Tex. Hi, Pancho Zorch. Good to see you. I just happened to see him. I tell you what, Tex, is that the same audio that you played for me a long time ago and my fight, and it sounded very similar to what I experienced. Is that the same one you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
See, that to me, that's authentic because that's very that's 90% what I heard, man. You seen my reaction when I heard that. And it wasn't even and mine was even a little bit worse, but that was damn close. You know what I mean? That's why I love the audio. Love the audio.
Yeah. And I'm an audio guy too. I
Yeah.
mean, I love audio. It's just, I don't know. It's just some people are, video, and some people are pictures, and some people are, footprint people, and I love a good piece of audio. It's fascinating to me.
What's fascinating to me, Tex, is I think you got something going on with this stranger talking to you in the shower.
Yeah, I don't know what that's
I mean,
about.
but Tex, and I've known Tex for 6 years, and he told me this. I know he's not full of crap. I know he's not making it up. I know, and the ironic thing is, you had the experience 2 days prior on the show, the same
Yeah.
voice on the show, and the same voice in your shower, for God's sakes. And I know you're not losing your marbles.
I don't know what it was. It was. Yeah, I'm just like, what the hell? But like I said, it didn't even dawn on me till a few minutes ago when we were talking about it that, oh crap, we got remodeling going. You know,
Yeah.
things tend to stir stuff up.
Yeah. Fish of Spam asked if you locked the door. Did you hear that, Tex?
Do what?
Fisher asked if you locked the door to the bathroom when you took your shower.
No, I don't lock.
Yeah, I know. Maybe thought,
They want to take a peek at me naked. Have fun with that. You want a good horror story? There you go.
Yeah,
That's a cryptid encounter in itself.
Well, no, but you got quite the transformation, though. I'm proud of you, man. How much have you lost now? About 100+ pounds, at least, since what you went through.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're looking good. Last time I saw you,
Man, I feel a lot better. I'll tell you that. People quit blowing up my phone.
Yeah, mine too. I had to turn mine off. People know that I'm doing a show, and my phone. I don't know. It's just people just. I think they do that.
Doing shows. It's kind of like working nights. I have found. Normal people don't think about it. But yeah, if you want to have a cryptid encounter, open my shower curtain.
Yeah, no, I tell you what, I pass on that one because I'd like to see another cryptid in the forest, but not in another man's shower. I'll leave it at that.
Right.
So what else, Tex? We got about 15 minutes. We had no guests today, and I just, hey, we always do a show, and I wanted to tell about that weird story. I wanted you to hear about that, and that's, that treads the line between paranormal, evil, and something else. And bottom line with that story was, I'm glad the guy that sought some help and really the bottom line between all these shows, Tex, as you well know, is to help other people, right?
Yeah.
And because I know many people have had these frightening experiences, and like to voice their thoughts and give them that platform because that's what helped me. Certainly, it's mental therapy. Every time I tell my story, man, it's therapy. And I've been doing it for 5 years, since 2018, man, and I still enjoy saying it every now and again. I do.
Yeah, Fisher, he said, talking about me in the showers, he said, we call that cryptid the Texas white thing.
Oh boy.
But it's, I don't know. I love interacting with people, and I love the encounters that we get, and that will never change.
I mean, absolutely.
This one in particular one that we talked about today. That boy was headed to a very, very dark place.
Yes.
And he needs to really, the two fathers he needs, the three fathers that he needs to thank is the one upstairs, the one at the church, and the one that helped create, got with his mama. So, I mean, it's the three fathers came through for him on that one. They saved his bacon. I just hope the guy is staying on the path. I really do.
Yep, and that's a great thing about seeking help from others. Yeah, the guy obviously needed guidance, much like people that have these cryptid encounters. They need guidance. A lot of them, right? Because they don't know where to turn or where to go. And fortunately, that his dad didn't turn the cold shoulder like he said he would, because I'm sure he's sick and tired of his kid being a criminal and always being bailed out of jail.
Yeah.
But I get, your kids are your kids, and the dad did help him, and I think that the spiritual guidance that he got probably seemed like it worked, but that'll be a nice follow up to that because I'd like to know what happened,
Yeah.
later. So
Yeah, I would too. I'd like to know, I'd like to know that the guy has turned it around. I really do, because I hate seeing anybody go down that path.
yeah, me either. And I got to ask you, Tex, really quickly, and I know that you've seen a lot of different people in chat room. When we're talking about ghosts and all these spiritual entities, you've seen the Hat Man before, the Dark Shadow.
I seen a guy wearing a hat.
Well,
I don't know if you call
however,
him.
well, it's not a person you invited in your house.
Well, no, but I mean, he was there before I was. Um, that was back. I was living in another place. It was a brand new house,
Mm-hmm.
And after doing some research, we found out that it was the land. It wasn't the house at all.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't call it a hat man. I mean, I call him the rifleman as far as that goes, because he had a rifle crooked over his arm.
Yeah.
But it was a full body apparition. I'll say that. But
And it took on a semblance of a cowboy with a rifle.
mm-hmm, yeah, long saddle coat or duster, if you want to call it that, and broad brim hat, kind of like what I'm wearing, and the rifle crooked over his arm, 1 foot up on the wall by the fireplace, and just standing there.
I think it's very interesting that you bring up about it's not the house, but it was a property. So there was a lot of things that went on that property.
Well, what we found out was, because it's part of the Chisholm Trail where they did the cattle drives, and there was a drive going through there, and they had some kids that they were, because they brought younger kids, teenagers and stuff along with them, and using them as gophers and that type of thing, and train them up. And they had to most time they took them on shorter drives, stuff like that. So they may have been going to Fort Worth out of somewhere out. I don't know. But there was a war. They had camped, and there was a war party, and come through and wiped out the whole, all of them, kids and everything. And the two entities that we saw were, one, the cowboy that I saw, and then a young boy. So, which is, I believe, the one that I patted on the head that night, which really is crazy, because I can't explain that one. I have no clue how to. Well, I don't even know where to go with that.
I think that the reason I asked you that question is I think that we all have to be cognizant of certain things, like when we're talking about ghosts. Because the story. I'm not going to tell the story. I've said it a handful of times, but about the member of my niece, right? That my brother built that house on that property, and it was just vacant land and a brand new subdivision going up, and
yep,
I would see, and I seen what I thought was my niece at the time opening my bedroom door when I would spend the night, and I seen her, not her, but like a shadow, because it was nighttime with a little bit of ambient light, and saw a shadow of her. Hey, how's it going? Shut the door. It happened to me several occasions, and then it happened to my mom, and then all of a sudden, My niece was talking to somebody in a closet, which we found out was an actual, well, allegedly a spirit, because she told my brother and my sister-in-law various things about how this little apparition told my little niece, and you guys got to remember she's 5 or 6, and
Right.
about how the white man invaded their land and murdered everybody.
Yeah. Where would she get that info?
Where would her at 5 or 6
Mhm.
say that, right? So that's why my brother is like, oh my God, is my daughter mentally unstable? Huh. Do I got to take her to a psychiatrist? Until he did some investigation and found out that the property was indeed years ago was an Indian burial mound.
Yeah.
It was grounds where many First Nations were slaughtered by the white man back in the day. And that's where this was built. Later on, as we find out, that their home was not the only home that was haunted by these different little children, right? My brother moved out after hearing about this, and I'm not staying here. He just that stuff creeps him out. They moved a year later, and he ran into one of his ex neighbors that said, "Hey, you moved?" And my brother said, "Yeah, he didn't want to get into it, all embarrassed, like all of us don't want to say we saw a ghost." But the neighbor brought up to him, "You saw a ghost, didn't you?" Yeah, I did. And so he goes, the whole neighborhood is haunted. And if you go back to today, that's a very tough piece of that subdivision today, Tex. People do not stay there long. They don't live there
Well, see,
very
we,
long.
we and it was the same story over there where we were because we had a neighbor that lived across the street, and see if I can get the story right. One of her youngest daughter was about that age, 5, 6 maybe, and um, she was talking. She was in her bedroom. She was talking. I believe this is how the story goes. She was. Her mom heard her talking. She's like, she came in the living room or kitchen. She goes, "Who are you talking to?" You know, and she goes, "The little boy sitting on my dresser."
Really? Come on,
So,
man.
and there was strange stuff that some of the neighbors talked about, some of them didn't.
Yeah.
Um, According to what we heard after we moved out of the house, that because we never had anything negative happen when we were in there. It was always more of a feeling of a protective feeling type thing. But we heard things took a turn. Evidently, they were mad or didn't like the folks that moved in, or were mad at us for moving out. I don't know what it was, but there was stuff that got thrown and yeah, that type of thing. So it amped up when we left.
Mhm. Yeah, it's just so weird. It's very weird circumstances. And I got to tell you, in regards to my niece, who's now 27, 26, 27, 5, 6 years old she was back during time. So, about last year during the summer, I was hanging out with her and my brother. And I had brought that up. Do you remember blah, blah, blah when you were a little kid about this whole incident? And, she has no recollection of it whatsoever. Not even a
That does
memory.
not surprise me.
Not even a memory of it.
Does not surprise me in the least, because I used to have when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
I had two imaginary friends,
Hmm.
and stupid names, folks. They're goofy, and I don't know where I got them. I have no clue where they came from. I don't remember. I don't. I don't remember seeing them. I don't remember playing with it. I remember having conversations with
Hmm.
them, and I remember telling my whole family about them. Um, but evidently, I don't know. So I'm not saying they were ghosts. I'm not. Just may have been just been imaginary friends. I don't know. But it was Roro and Dada. So I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. But and I don't, like I said, I don't remember seeing these things or anything. But I do kind of remember having conversations with them. Not specific conversations, but I kind of remember me talking to them, I guess, or having dealings with them. But I don't remember seeing anything. But I think as little kids, we kind of put that one. I think we're told that we are imaginary friends, and we just kind of push it out of our mind, you know. So.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Well, I gotta tell you, man, thanks for coming on. I didn't have no guest scheduled today. I've been busy as heck, and I don't know who we got next week, but I'm also kind of geek because I'm gonna have to prepare tonight. So I'll be on Coast to Coast, everybody, tonight, talking about my 2 books that are out and George Nuri. So I gotta go 3 in the morning today, and I'll be up for that. So it's from 3 to 5 a.m. tonight. So I'm geeked, a little bit nervous, but I've been doing this for a while. You know me,
Well,
once I get rolling, I don't stop. So it'll be a lot of fun.
I got one thing that I want to share before we get off air.
Okay, very good.
And this is probably the best photographic evidence of a dog man that I know of that's out there.
Okay.
I'm just going to say that. And it's very controversial. You know, it hasn't been talked about a lot. I'm really surprised it hasn't. But we can break it down on another show if you want. But let me load it up here, and we'll take a look at it real quick, because I'm not real sure. Because I know, you know, it's the only combat related with a dog man that I know of.
Mm-hmm.
Picture. So yeah, we can take a look at that. So
we definitely need to break this down another time. Oh boy!
If you'll notice, no red circles are involved in it.
No, that's one of the best pictures I've ever seen. Look at the definition. I can tell.
I know. I know. It's absolutely amazing photograph to me, and
now that should be going viral.
Undeniable evidence right there, folks.
That is the undeniable evidence.
Unrefutable.
I thought you were going to be serious. I'm like, dude, half the people left because I said we're shutting it down, and now I see this. Very good. Very good, Tex. I like that. I like that picture, though. Look how svelte you look.
Yeah, I'll swell up all right. About 100 pounds heavier than that point.
No, you look svelte in that picture. Wow. So actually, with all the weight, you still carry yourself well. I like that.
Yeah, I'm swelled up all right.
Yeah, well, maybe swelled. Yeah.
But thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Oh, you're welcome, brother. You know that. And so if you're new here, please subscribe to Bigfoot Michigan Rob, Texas Front Porch, the Blondes and the Booze on YouTube. Like you guys. That helps promote the shows. And I guess perhaps leave a comment. Say, yeah, the show sucked, whatever. Rob's awesome. Tex blows. I don't care. As long as it's something, you write something. Just kidding.
Yeah, just leave us a comment.
Yeah, so I'll just say type in ABC, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, whatever.
So yeah, don't forget my book's on Amazon. Just type in Bigfoot Mr. Rob on Amazon. And Tex, of course, it's got something out in the works pretty soon. We'll get more in depth in that when it hits the market. So
yeah, it's hitting September.
Excellent.
Is the schedule.
Tex will have a true crime book out here in September. So we'll talk about that down the road as well. Congratulations so far on that. Thanks to everybody for coming on in. Thank you for the super chat that I got from JD from Australia. Thanks for staying up and watching the show 3:30 a.m. in the morning where he's at. I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So awesome. Thanks, brother. All right. So we're gonna tie this up. There's some things I gotta do today, then I gotta prepare for the show. I know it's at 3 in the morning. That's the thing. I'm not one of these guys that's gonna be able to fall asleep. So I'll be dragging ass at 5 in the morning. Anyway. Yeah, so thanks to everybody. Thanks to you, Tex. All I'm trying to do is waste time while I find the exit button.
Well, congratulations again.
Oh, I appreciate it, man. So I appreciate it, and I'm sure we'll talk about that later. With that being said, you guys have a great day. Talk to you soon.